Thank you for joining me for 1.3 Real Numbers and the Number Line. Here we're going to graph and compare real numbers using a number line. A number line allows us to visually express or see and visualize real numbers. And let's try to look at some common number sets and visualize them on these number lines. The first one we're going to look at is whole numbers. Whole numbers are simply numbers that are going to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. There's absolutely no fractions here. And I tell students a good way to try to remember it, or a silly way to remember it, is when you think of that whole number there, you see that O, you know that it's going to start with 0. And the numbers are going to be whole, complete. There's going to be absolutely no fractions. Numbers like negative numbers, fractions, decimals, they are not whole numbers. Can you think of one or two whole numbers? So let's say the number 53 would be a whole number, right? Certainly the number 12. And so even the number 1000, right? Because this number line is going here forever into infinity. I want to point out here this logo, Math is Fun. I got some of these images from their website, mathisfun.com. They have great common number sets and some tools where you can explore and learn more about them. So I hope you have an opportunity to check them out. So here we have counting numbers, also referred to as natural numbers. And these are whole numbers, but they're not starting with 0, so they start at 1. And again, they continue on to infinity. No fractions, no decimals, just whole numbers. So once again, you can think of a few yourself. It's going to be no negative numbers, only positive whole numbers. So we can say the number 20, right? And again, we can continue on and on and on until infinity. In the previous slide, we looked at whole numbers, with that whole, the O, reminds us that it starts with 0. But here, for counting numbers, is all the whole numbers except without 0. Integers are like whole numbers, only you have a little bit more here. You have 0 and you have the positive numbers, whole, 1, 2, 3, 4, on to infinity, but you also now have the negative numbers, the negative 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. So I tell the students a silly way to remember it is I like to think about the tick marks on a number line. And typically we include 0 on a number line, we include our positive numbers, and we include our negative numbers. So integers are going to include the whole numbers, and now we're also adding the negatives. Again, there are no fractions here, and there are also no decimals. So here are some examples of the integers, -1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go obviously to the positive sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we must include 0 as well. Now here, finally, we're going to get the fractions. A rational number is a number that can be written as a ratio, and look at the word ratio right there. So this is a number where we're going to be able to have a numerator and a denominator on top and at the bottom. So here's my numerator, and here's my denominator. So now let's take a look at the number 5. Is that a rational number? What do you think? Well, let's ask ourselves a question. Can we write that as a fraction? Let's say here's our numerator and our denominator. This is equal to 5. So most numbers are going to be rational numbers because we can write them as a fraction. And what about a decimal? Let's say 0.6. Can that be written as a fraction? Sure. All we have to do is we can just, this is the numerator, and we're going to write it over its place value. This is in the 10th place. So we can write this as 6 over 10, and then we can go ahead and reduce this to 3 over 5. And of course, this is a rational number. This is a fraction. So we can see by these examples that most numbers we use every day are going to be rational numbers. Here's a challenge. What about the square root of 4. Is that rational? Well, the square root of a perfect square is a rational number because it's going to be able to be placed on a number line. We know this is a number 2. We can write this as a ratio. So definitely a square, the square root of 4 or a perfect square is going to be a rational number. The same can be said about a cube root. So the cube root of 8 is going to also be the number 2. And we can place this on a number line. It can be written as a ratio, a fraction. So definitely these are rational numbers. We're getting here down to our last common number set. So now we just went from rational numbers, which we can write as a ratio, to irrational numbers. And irrational numbers are real numbers that cannot be written as a simple fraction. So when we were looking at a rational number here, like here 1.5 obviously equals 3 over 2. It's a ratio, a fraction. So we can capture this number and write it as a fraction. A very common and popular rational number would be pi. There's no ratio. We can't write it out as a fraction. We can estimate it as a fraction, but we can't write it out as a fraction. So definitely this is an irrational number. And following what we just did, a rational number was the square root of, let's say, 4 or the square root of 9. These are perfect squares. And we also talked about the cube root. But an irrational number would be anything that can't be a perfect square that is in a square root. So like, let's say the square root of 5 would be irrational. So that would be irrational. The cube root of, instead of 8, let's say, would be 9. That would be irrational. So numbers that are not perfect squares, that are not perfect cubes inside of square roots or cube roots, they are irrational. And of course, again, the most famous here being pi as an irrational number. So all the numbers that we talked about, whole numbers, counting numbers, again, same as natural numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, all these numbers are part of the real number set. And every number that we can think of right now is a real number. There are numbers that are considered imaginary numbers that you'll learn later on in Algebra 2. But right now, every number that you know is a real number. So let's draw a little family tree here. We're going to go ahead and start out. Here are the real numbers, right? Let me change that color to blue. So we have the real numbers, and in the real numbers set, right underneath that, we just talked about that we have rational and irrational. So numbers that we can write as a ratio, a fraction, and those that we cannot. And right underneath rational number, basically all the numbers fall in there. They're fractions. So those are definitely, right, rational numbers. But then we also have underneath here numbers that we don't write as fractions, right, that we know are the whole numbers. We have integers. Well, let me put counting numbers here first. Counting numbers. And we have the integers. So this is basically the entire number set. In the next few slides, we'll practice categorizing and ordering these numbers. I am going to go ahead and just briefly mention what a real number is not. And again, it's those imaginary numbers that you will learn about in the future. And that would be a negative under a square root. And infinity is not a real number. Infinity, negative infinity, and positive infinity is written this way. And this is just a way of describing something that doesn't have a limit, that it's limitless. So, of course, that's not a number. So let's practice here. real numbers and the number lines. Sample problem 1, determine which of the numbers given below are integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, natural number, and non-integers. Now, some of these numbers will belong to more than one of these sets. So go ahead and pause it, take a look at it, try to see if you can recall which category they'll fall under. So let's start with integers. Integers, I'm looking for sets of numbers that are positive whole numbers, negative numbers, and 0. So I find 0 right here. Perfect. 6, 7, 41, and 51. So those would be the integers. So let's take a look at rational numbers. Rational numbers are going to be a set of numbers which can be written in fraction form. So let's take a look at these here and see what you got. When I'm looking at negative 0.2, definitely that's going to be a rational number, not 0 there. What about 0.3? With that repeating decimal, definitely. When you can express something in a terminating or repeating decimal, that would be considered a rational number. Now, that next number, no. Pi, no. Definitely 6 can be expressed as a fraction, 7, 41, and 51. So now for the irrational number. An irrational number is going to be a number whose decimal is not terminating and it's not repeating. So of course that's 0.7177 and then it's 1, and I see that that 7 is now written 3 times, and now it's written 4 times, and it's going on. That's definitely irrational. And of course, this famous one, pi. Now, for the real numbers, you said it's all these numbers up here. You are absolutely right. A real number is going to be all these numbers. And we can just write them out here really quickly. I'm going to stop this one right there. Pi, of course, is a real number. And we go on and on and on here. Now, the natural numbers. These numbers we use to count. So we don't start counting with 0. So, of course, it's only 6, 7, 41, and 51. What about non-integers? Non-integers, what are integers? Integers are going to be numbers that are formed by the whole numbers, right? All positive. So whole numbers starting with 0, 1, 2, 3. And we add the negative numbers too as well. So what isn't a whole number? Well, it's going to be that 0, that negative 0.2, 0.3, repeating with the 3 there. And of course, all these would be non-integers and pi. For our textbook, you want to concentrate on what integers are, rational numbers, irrational numbers, real numbers, and natural numbers, also called counting numbers. For this slide, let's graph the numbers negative 2.3 and 1/2 on the number line. I'm going to pause the video. You take a moment to draft your number line, and let's compare notes. So here, negative 2.3 is smaller than negative 2. It's farther away from that 0. And 1/2 is in between 0 and 1. Now for this slide, we're going to graph the numbers negative 3 and negative 5 on the number line and write two inequalities that compare the two numbers. Now let's remember that inequalities are symbols like less than and greater than, or less than and equal to, or greater than and equal to. I'm going to go ahead and pause and let's see what you got. So we can compare these numbers in these two ways. Negative 5 is less than -3 because you can see it's to the left. -5 is to the left of -3, and it's further away from 0 than -3. So we're looking at that negative sign and finding those numbers on the number line to the left of 0. And we can also express it by saying -3 is greater than -5. And one way students do this and remember is by comparing these openings here. Since this opening is smaller here, or actually not even existent, this would be less than. Here, the opening is greater, looking at -3 there, facing it. So it's -3 is greater than -5. So on this slide, we're going to graph the numbers -2, 4, 0, 1.5, 1/2, -3/2, and -2.5. I would encourage you to write the numbers here so that then you can plot them on the number line. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Now let's take a look here that we've labeled them all. And I see here I have -2.5. Oh, I forgot the 0.5 there. -2.5, check. 2. -3/2. 0. 1/2. 1.5. And 4. So hopefully we've done these together and we match. Let's take a look at the next slide. So let's review here what an absolute value of a number is. So basically the absolute value of a number is going to be indicating how far is that number from 0. So if we take the absolute value of 5, what we're saying here is how far is 5 from 0? How many units is it away? And a good way to try to remember it is if you look at this, it kind of looks like a little road, especially most of you are thinking about taking permits and driving. So when you see this, think about the distance of 5 from 0 on the number line. So we're going to look at 5. It's right here, located here, and here's 0. And so 5 is 5 units away from 0. So the answer here would be 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. Well, what about the absolute value of -5? And again, this is just a little quick review of what it means to have these absolute value bars. So I'm going to think of this as, again, reminds me of a little road, the distance that -5 is from the origin, from 0. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, that it's 5 units from 0. So -5 is 5 units from 0. So the absolute value of -5 is 5. So when we're looking at these absolute value bars, what we're asking ourselves is, what is the distance from 0? For this problem, go ahead and evaluate and graph the numbers, the absolute value of 2.3 and the absolute value of -1/2 on the number line. And let's come back and compare. So the absolute value of -1/2, the distance from 0 is going to be 1/2 units away from 0. And how about 2.3, the absolute value of 2.3? Well, it's 2.3 units from 0. This was a quick review of absolute values, and we will be learning more about them in the future here. So this concludes real numbers and the number lines. Thank you for joining me.